How to triple productivity overnight. You've probably heard this 100 times and thought it's just another internet scam slogan, just like I did. But what if I told you that I actually found a tool that didn't just make me work faster, but also smarter? Here's how you can go from chaotic days to laser-focused execution, just by using an AI tool that completely flipped my workday. It all started with a desk full of sticky notes that looked like a rainbow had exploded. Then came the to-do lists that kept glaring at me. Emails piled up and deadlines felt like stress bombs. It's not like I wasn't working. I started on one task, then another, and before I knew it, an hour had gone by. Does that mean I was productive? Not really. All of this time was just spent on prepping for the upcoming task instead of getting real work done. Then it was time for burnout, poor focus, low energy spells, that creeping feeling, and the mountains of self-doubt. Maybe I'm not cut out for this pace of work, maybe it's just not for me. But what if the problem isn't me? What if it's all about the way in which I work? Meet my new AI assistant. Now that I was looking for a miracle, I just needed a little help to manage well. I've tried plenty of task managers before, but they always end up becoming another task to be managed. So, no, not the help I want. One night I was reading about AI-powered productivity tools. That's when I stumbled upon Motion. The list of features it promises caught my eye. I read that all I had to do was list my tasks and it would automatically build a schedule for me. No dropping, dragging, or manual shifting. And in case your daily schedule changes, it'll also learn that and adapt accordingly to your personal productivity patterns. The last point, that one hooked me. I've only ever seen tools that were static. You set the rules and that's about it. Motion looked different from the very beginning. It would study how long I actually took to finish tasks, when I worked best, and when I tended to drift off. And it would use that data to plan smarter. Of course I was signing up. I started setting up soon after. It asked me my working hours and my biggest daily priorities. When my tasks of the day were due, I had a choice between high discipline mode or a more flexible routine. Guess what? I picked strict mode. If I'm going to do this, I'm going all in. When I woke up the next morning and opened my laptop, my Motion dashboard was ready. It was such a relief looking at my calendar already blocked into focus sessions, meetings, and breaks. All the planning used to be the most dreadful time of the day for me. AI had sorted all my tasks into specific time windows based on my productivity peaks and urgency. Isn't it a dream to wake up every morning and have a clear task-focused schedule ready for you for the entire day? No mental juggling and no keeping track manually. Motion will serve as your personal assistant, from telling you what to do first thing in the morning to making sure you've succeeded in accomplishing your goals for the day. It does it all. What's more amazing? Instead of dumping a huge 4-hour project on me, Motion broke it into manageable 30 to 45-minute blocks. After each block, it gave me a short break to recharge and recollect myself for the next thing. Don't you wish your 9-to-5 also worked like this? Anyway, it even started my day with the most important task, instead of the easiest one, something that I am guilty of doing and hence jeopardizing my whole routine. Motion knew that the most demanding work should be prioritized, so I can get it done when I have the most energy. And me? I'd keep delaying it until I could, and always ended up with something I wasn't proud of. That's the kicker here, the fact that it factored in my energy cycle. I'm sharper in the mornings, so Motion scheduled my deep work then, leaving lighter admin for the afternoon slump. Halfway through the day, an unplanned meeting popped up. I panicked for half a second, but Motion said, "I've got this." I watched it immediately reshuffle my entire schedule in seconds. Nothing got erased at all. It's just that everything was simply moved and adjusted to fit in well. By evening, I'd done more focus work in 6 hours than I'd usually manage in 10. And for the first time in months, I wasn't mentally fried. I wasn't questioning my potential or doubting my dreams. I was reassured that with the right kind of help, I can achieve everything I've dreamt of and more. From mundane day-to-day tasks, I can climb up the ladder until I reach the top. Spending the first day with Motion made me curious about why it felt so effortless, yet so effective. The more I looked into it, the more I realized it wasn't magic. It was science powered by clever AI. Motion uses a strategy called time blocking. This means sorting every task into its own dedicated time on your calendar. Sounds simple enough, right? Maybe. But it serves a greater purpose. It stops that feeling where you feel like your work is overlapping with each other, and it gets too overwhelming to take the first step. It also prevents something known as context switching. You know when you're fully focused on one thing, and as soon as you get done with it, you have to take a few minutes to focus on something else in the same way? A study conducted by the University of California shows that the average human needs at least 23 minutes to do so. Imagine 23 minutes in between hundreds of tasks every day. That's a lot of wasted time. So, Motion makes sure to minimize the delay as much as possible. It also schedules with purpose, making sure your most important and high-impact tasks happen when your brain feels the most active, not when you're already running on caffeine fumes. This is similar to the eat that frog method, where you tackle the toughest thing first so the rest of your day feels easier. And unlike static planners, where you're still the one taking all the shots, Motion adapts in real time. In case of a meeting running over the expected time or something unexpected coming up, it instantly reshuffles your entire day. So, nothing gets lost. Do you want to know how Motion is hacking into your brain? You know that feel-good chemical, dopamine, that gets released when you achieve something? Well, Motion breaks each activity into smaller projects, so you get a tiny hit of motivation every time you check off on the list. Do you also struggle with deciding what to do next? Motion also gets rid of your decision fatigue in no time. Over time, it even learns your habits. If you tend to slow down in the afternoons, it'll adjust and give you lighter, less mentally demanding tasks. This is exactly what I meant when I claimed that it didn't just make me work hard, but smart. Better results, but with less effort. I went in hoping for a bit more organization. What I got was a complete shift in how I approach work. While a day was enough to change my perspective, the benefits were even more impossible to ignore a week later. What used to take me 9 or 10 hours was getting done in 6. On my very best days, it even felt like triple the output compared to my most unstructured ones. Since I wasn't juggling a handful of things in my head, my stress levels dropped noticeably. Everything was already laid out for me on an hourly basis. The uninterrupted deep work blocks, they were a game changer. It made my writing and project work sharper, cleaner, and quicker. Motion also built real-time breaks into my day, and I actually took them. This helped me avoid the cluster headaches and gave me more energy in the evenings, a healthier rhythm overall. Without having to micro-plan consistency, I felt my creativity come rushing back. I started sketching again, picking up books that were collecting dust on the shelves, and found myself thinking bigger about my work. The most unexpected part? I genuinely enjoyed following the plan. It didn't feel like a set of rigid rules. It felt like having a personal assistant who knew exactly how to get the best out of me. So, that's how AI made my work predictable, focused, and stress-free. A whole system set up specifically for my needs and wants. It gave me back mental space and time I'd thought I'd lost forever. If you've also been drowning in chaos, Motion might just be your lifeline. Like and subscribe if you also struggle with productivity. And I'll tell you about the next tool you should be looking into.